Welcome to your community. This is your hometown. This is Walton Entertainment. This is where you can hear from the community and those making a difference. We explore topics, local festivals, arts and entertainment, and local news. For this program and much more, visit us online at yourlocalstream.com. That's yourlocalstream.com.
There are all kinds of trails here at Red Top Mountain Park, and they're well marked. They've got a lot of little musical instruments around here that you can beat on. This is kind of neat. Here's a picture of some of the iron ore that came out of Red Top Mountain. And this is an old buggy, I guess you would call it, that they haul the iron ore down to the mine, out of the mine. I want you to look at the size of these boards, how wide they were for this log cabin. This actually was the blacksmith shop. Can you imagine chinking that? How much mud and all it would take to chink it? As you walk on the trails, you see these beautiful mushrooms in all different shapes and sizes. And we walk back to the log cabin, and this is a side view of it. This is a couple of furnace that was made of 2 propane tanks You see the one on top and the one there at the bottom. And it would get up to 3,200 degrees to make the iron ore come out as a liquid. I'm going to show you one of the markers here that kind of explains the iron ore and the mining here. If you want to picnic, Red Top Mountain is a place to come. I have never seen so many picnic tables and benches in an area of all the parks I've been in. And most of them have a fabulous view too. This is a front view of the Red Top Mountain Visitor Center. And there's quite a bit of parking up here too. This is Paul Mullins with Walton Entertainment at Red Top Mountain, Georgia.
Creative artists can offer you a wide range of video production. Call the experts and discuss your project today, whether it's your special event or your company. Creative Artist, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist produces this program you're watching. Call Creative Artist today, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist, they'll put you in the spotlight.
Hi there! Are you ready to read again? Today we're going to read Goldilocks and Just One Bear by Lee Hodgkinson. Let's read. Once upon a time, Once upon a time, there was this bear. One minute he was strolling in the woods, all happy-go-lucky. The next minute, he didn't have a crumb of a clue where he was. He was one completely lost bear. Bear didn't much like this place. Too many bright lights and not enough twigs. Too much loud honking and beeping and not nearly enough owl hooting. The bear was also a teeny bit scared, and his furry legs were slightly wobbly. Maybe the thing to do, said the bear, looking around, is to pop into Snooty Towers and get away from this terrible racket. But the revolving door at Snooty Towers made the bear dizzy, and being dizzy with wobbly legs was a bad news. What the bear needed was a little rest. A little rest somewhere would definitely make things right. The bear peeked through a door and thought, how very pleasant it was up here. Not nasty and noisy like down there, said the bear. Just the place for a little rest. All that whooshy traveling was certainly a hungry business, so before his little rest, a little porridge seemed like a good idea. This porridge is too soggy. This porridge is too crunchy. This porridge is a bit on the dry side, but it is better than nothing. Now the bear was ready for his little rest. This chair is too ouchy. This chair is too noisy. This chair is just right. A little rest is nice, but what the bear needed to feel like himself again was a good old-fashioned nap in a comfy bed. This bed is too frothy. This bed is too pink. This bed is just right. And soon he nodded off. The bear dreamed of crunching through leaves. The bear dreamed of puttering around in his slippers. The bear dreamed of a voice shouting very, very loudly. Somebody has been eating from my fishbowl, said the daddy person. Somebody has been eating my dear little pumpkin's kitty nibbles, said the mommy person. And somebody has been eating my toast, said the little person, and they've eaten it all up. Unfortunately, the bear was not dreaming at all. He was wide awake and back in real life again. Somebody has squished my cactus, said the daddy person. Somebody has upset my dear little pumpkin, said the mommy person. And somebody has popped my beanbag chair, said the little person. Somebody has been sleeping in my bath, said the daddy person. Somebody has been sleeping in my bed, said the mommy person. Shh, whispered the little person. I think that somebody is sleeping in my bed right now. The bear peeked from under the covers to see a daddy person, a mommy person, and a little person standing right there. The bear thought that the mommy person looked ever so slightly familiar, and the mommy person thought that gobbling other people's breakfast, breaking other people's stuff, and snoozing in other people's beds seemed ever so slightly familiar too. And it was. "Baby bear?" said the mommy person. "Goldilocks?" said the bear. They hadn't seen each other in ages. "Porridge?" asked Goldilocks. The bear nodded. So Goldilocks cooked up a big bowl and plunked it in front of him. It was not too hot. It was not too cold. It was just right. It made the bear almost forget about that once upon a time when Goldilocks had behaved so badly. This little bear would never dream of doing anything like that. And although it had been good to see Goldilocks living so happily ever after with those charming people, the bear decided it was time to go back home to the woods. The end. This book is called Sleep Like a Tiger. It was written by Mary Loge and illustrated by Pamela Zagorinsky. Let's read. Once there was a little girl who didn't want to go to sleep, even though the sun had gone away. She told her mother, "I'm not tired." She told her father, "I'm just not sleepy." They nodded their heads and said she didn't have to go to sleep, but she had to put her pajamas on. She picked out her favorite pajamas that matched the night sky. "I'm still wide awake," she announced. Her parents said that was fine, but she should wash her face and brush her teeth, so she did. It felt good to be nice and clean. Then, because she loved climbing into her bed, she did, stretching her toes down under the crisp sheets, lying as still as an otter floating in a stream. "Does everything in the world go to sleep?" she asked. "Yes," her parents told her. "Our dog is sleeping right now, curled up in a ball on the couch, where he's not supposed to be." "And the cat is fast asleep, stretched out in front of the fireplace, the warmest spot in the house." "What about bats?" she asked. "They don't sleep." "Not at night," her parents agreed, "but during the day they fold their wings, tuck their heads, and sleep hanging upside down in the safest place in the barn." "Do whales sleep?" she asked. "Yes, They swim slowly around and around in a large circle in the ocean and sleep. Tiny snails? She asked. They curl up like a cinnamon roll inside their shell. Even grizzly bears? She asked. Bears are mighty sleepers. They make a cozy den under the snow and sleep through the winter. All winter? That's too long, she said. Most animals just sleep through the night, her parents said, tucking her in. I know an animal that sleeps a lot, the little girl told them. What animal is that? Her parents asked. The tiger in the jungle. When he's not hunting, he finds some shade, closes his eyes, and sleeps. That way he stays strong. Her parents nodded. Sleep is good for that. Then they kissed her, turned out the light, and stood in the doorway. I'm still not sleepy, she told them. We know, they agreed. You can stay awake all night long. They left her door open a crack. The little girl's bed was warm and cozy, a cocoon of sheets, a nest of blankets. Unlike the dog on the couch, she was right where she was supposed to be. She wiggled down under the covers until she found the warmest spot, like the cat in front of the fire. She folded her arms like the wings of a bat. She circled around like the whale. And the curled up snail. Then she snuggled deep as a bear, the deep sleeping bear. And like the strong tiger, fell fast asleep. The end. Let's read I'm Big Enough. It's by Amber Stewart and Lane Marlowe. Let's read. Bean was big enough. She was big enough to hop all the way around Stickleback Pond without stopping. She was big enough to go dandelion picking and to choose the juiciest ones for Mommy to cook. Bean was even big enough to swing the highest of all her friends, so high her giggles could be heard over and beyond Bluebell Wood, so high, her tummy tumbled as she flew up. She was big enough to do all these things. But was Bean big enough to stop taking her blanket just about everywhere she went? "No," said Bean. "I love my blankie." "Maybe you could try doing things without your blanket," said Mommy and Daddy gently. "Yes, blankets are for babies," said Bean's big brother. "No, they're not," said Bean. So Bean made a plan just in case her family decided to take her blanket away. She called it the Keep Blankie Forever plan. Early in the morning, Bean set out to hide her blanket in a special secret place. It wasn't on the edge of Stickleback Pond because the frogs might find it. It wasn't between the branches of Thunderstruck Tree because the birds might take it. It wasn't buried in the soft earth because the mice might want it. Bean was just wondering if she would ever find the right spot when she saw a hollow log hidden by overgrown bushes. Bean hid her blanket deep in the hollow log and hurried home. She was happy all day knowing that the blanket was safe. But when bedtime drew near, Bean wanted her blanket. She had never had a bedtime without cuddling her blanket, and she didn't want one now. So Bean set out to her secret hiding place to bring her blanket back home. The woods looked different in the early evening light. All the hollow logs seemed the same, and now Bean wasn't sure which one was her hiding place. Was her blanket in that hollow log? Or that one? Or that one? "Oh no," cried Bean. "My plan didn't work. I've lost Blankie." Poor Bean had no choice but to return home blanketless, and close to tears she saw Mommy. "Bean, where did you go?" Mommy asked. "To look for Blankie," sniffed Bean, "but I couldn't find it." Bean's family was very kind about the lost blanket disaster. Daddy read her 2 extra bedtime stories, and Mommy made her hot milk to help her sleep. And Bean's brother lent her his second favorite teddy bear. Bean didn't like her first bedtime without her blanket. She didn't much like her second or third either. But soon, looking for her blanket turned into looking for ladybugs and 4-leaf clovers and making the very best hideouts and going hollow log sledding until Bean had forgotten all about her blankie. One windy spring day, a long time later, Bean and her friends were chasing dandelion seeds in the sunny part of the woods when she saw the strangest thing. Bean looked at the tiny baby fox and knew now that her mommy was right. She really was much too big for her blanket. The end.
You're watching Walton Entertainment.